back, everyone. So, I'm just kind of going over stuff that I've kind of bumped into, some thought processes of the political minded, because I hate politics. But before I started, I wanted to show you a new member of our family, as we call pets. This is Honey Bunny. She is a baby. She is a tiny little baby. She's only like 1 or 2 months old. She's a Dutch Rex mix. And this is partly how I know she's a baby, is because these bunnies, pretty decent sized bunnies. They originally were bred for their fur. They have very, very velvety fur. It's sort of their signature trademark. So, they bred them big and docile. And, but it's Honey Bunny, like HONEY-BUNNY. Honey Bunny. She's a sweetheart. I love her. So, now that you've been introduced to the bunny, we're gonna pause for a second and get back into the video. Alright, now this is where the video comes back. Okay, so, not sure how to do this because it's complicated between the camera and the camera on the computer. Not sure. But, I've quit smoking again and back to just vaping, which I do not consider smoking. No more ash lung. Alright, so earlier today, I was watching ShoeOnHead, and she made a video about this, I think she was a 50-year-old woman or something like that, molested a very, very young boy. And this is the price of being consistent. It's very rewarding. And I think I've done the same thing on this subject matter that ShoeOnHead approaches, as well as TJ Kirk, the amazing atheist. He made a video where he talked about a Christofascist article that he found. And it's good to be consistent for these reasons, but so let me see if I can get this this
about 3 years ago.
All right, so all right. Hopefully this will work out, so I'll try to pin this here. So in this video, she brings up like an interesting conundrum of that I did a lot of videos on the I did a lot of anti-map, anti-pedophile videos, worked with the hashtag WakeUpYouTube and private investigator Dr. Purple. And she's pointing out in here the double standard that society has, that when it comes to young boys and older women, we tend to be like, oh, well, males like it. I forget how old the guy was and the boy was in this, but I think he was very young, like maybe max 15 and youngest 12. I think it was 12 though, but I could be wrong. I'd have to watch it again. But one of the points that she brought up in here is how all these conservatives rush to say, well, boys are different than girls. Boys like it, girls don't, and that kind of thing. And it was actually pushing the narrative to bring out members from NAMBLA and pro-MAP people. And she brought up how, she was being consistent in this and that she's made all these videos in the past. But one of the things that she pointed out is that how the like, you go to libs of TikTok and they will consider a gay person, like a homosexual male or a homosexual female, saying to kids, like, I'm a homosexual. That means that the person I'm with is, in my case, would be another male, or if it's a female, like this is my wife, this is my girlfriend, this is my husband, this is my boyfriend. Sometimes boys like other boys, sometimes girls like other girls, sometimes boys don't feel like boys, they feel like girls inside. Sometimes girls don't feel like girls, they feel like boys inside. Indoctrinating and grooming. And it's like, that's not indoctrinating and grooming. That's just telling kids that this exists. I mean, there's nothing sexual is being talked about. And I hate how anything LGBT related is automatically conflated to sex. It's not always about sex, okay? There's romanticism in it too, okay? There is. So she pointed out, rightfully so, that, okay, so because it's different. It's different because it's a boy. It's different because it's a boy. Well, she pointed out, why is it when a young man finds an older man into it, attractive, crushing, and they end up doing stuff, well, that's still wrong. What changed? And she talks about how this double standard really is a big double standard, and it really is. There shouldn't be a double standard. It's unacceptable. Somebody who's 58 years old really shouldn't be touching a 15-year-old child. I mean, it's not pedophilia, it's hebephilia, but it's still fucked up. And this is the reward of being consistent, is that I've done the same thing. I've gone against this. It doesn't matter if it's male, female. It doesn't matter, like, sexual orientation, gender, sex. None of that matters. It has to be not just consent, informed consent. Big difference. I'm not going to get into that, but I think that's a valid point for her to bring up, and that right now these right-leaning folks, these particular ones, are not being very intellectually consistent. If they're quick to call a gay couple who have kissed each other in front of a kid indoctrinators and groomers, or just simply stating that gay people exist, we're not talking about sex, not talking about butt sex, not talking about two lesbians spitting into each other's cups. We're just simply saying two people of the same sex gender, sometimes they like each other. And that happens in nature. That's a part of life. That's it. And they call that indoctrinating and grooming. But when a 58-year-old woman fucks a 12, 15-year-old child just because they're a boy, like, some of these conservatives were coming out and saying, oh, he should have kept his mouth shut. This was awesome. I'll leave the link to her video. You can check it out, although I don't think her channel needs any help from mine. So I'm gonna end that there. Hold on just a second. So I thought that was, great. So then I'm going to move on to the amazing atheist here in just a second. So that's going to render and shit. I don't like this new mod. Like, I want another Aspire, or not Aspire, what was it? Fuck, I can't remember what the name of the mod are that I like. Swell. That's it. I want another Swell. I don't like this geek vape. It's shit. Okay, so the amazing atheist. So I'm gonna plug this screen recording in here. So in this one, he called it the Christofascist Karen wants Theocracy. And again, this is the beautiful thing about remaining consistent. And I've made a lot of videos against identity politics, collectivism, tribalism. I've made videos against the woke scolds, the social justice warrior, SJW stuff. And, doing that as a leftist. Now, seeing the Christofascist. Now, TJ Kirk went ahead and made this video and talked about, like, several founding fathers, including George Washington, making statements against religion and how absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, this isn't just vague, ambiguous secularism. When he read these quotes, he did Thomas Paine, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, blatantly, no, we are not governed by religion at all. It has no place in our running our government. Period. End of story. Like, this shouldn't be up for debate. So he brought up but there's an inconsistency here, because in the article that he read, let me see if I can. It's a Karen who Sophia A. Nelson, and she looks like Karen, so he makes fun of her calling her Karen. But it says Christians are sick of being punished for their views in America. Now, he went on this whole display for entertainment purposes, but I like to analyze, and I think it's very interesting when someone who's Christian likes to play sort of the victim. Like, Christianity is like one of the, if not the world's top religious belief. Now, I personally, this is going to make me a dirty, nasty, mean atheist. I'm a mean little nihilist, but I personally subscribe to the position, hold the opinion, that religious belief is very, very close in line with that of, well, psychosis and delusions of grandeur. Hearing voices, some people who believe they do this speaking tongues. I mean, the very definition of belief is thinking something is real without evidence. So, which I think is funny, because sometimes these religious people, they say fear is an acronym for false evidence appearing real. Well, that's religion. And in the position that I hold, Christianity, or the belief in religious doctrine, it's a form of mental illness. It's delusion of grandeur. It's psychosis. You think these things are real. It's like people who think that Santa Claus is, people who think that they're a pony. People who identify as a pony. I mean, you don't get me wrong. I don't think you should be put out of your, not like the communists and stuff like that. No. I wouldn't advocate for harm towards someone with schizophrenia either, but I do think that people with mental illness do need access to adequate help, things like psychotherapy. I really would recommend trying to stay away from medications because I don't like SSRIs. I think we can do better than SSRIs, but in some cases they're very much needed. Antipsychotics, that kind of thing. I do think people do need better access to psychological help and psychological needs. And if you think I'm joking about this and viewing religious views as a form of psychosis, no, I'm not joking. But like I said, it's not as hateful probably as you think it is. Like I said, I wouldn't advocate for anyone struggling with mental illness any ill will on them, and I do respect the right for people to believe whatever they want. But just because you believe it's real doesn't mean that it is. And if you're operating off of a belief, it's not a good idea to run a society based off of an indoctrinated belief system or something that you can't even prove exists or doesn't exist at all. It's based off of your gut, your intuition, your beliefs, your delusions of grandeur, basically. That's a bad idea. So I'll leave a link to T.J. Kirk, the Amazing Atheist video. Like, he's been doing some really stellar content recently, and I really appreciate it. But the idea of Christians being punished for their views is quite hilarious, because for centuries it's been Christians persecuting and dominating everyone else. And even with the freedom to secularism, it's like, look, I'm not going to advocate to do anything against people with beliefs. You have the right to believe whatever you want. If being told that you can't force your views on other people is what you're calling oppressive or punishment, okay, this is the exact problem that we were having with the SJWs. This is the price for being consistent. This is the payoff. Is that I can say I didn't support it when the left did it as a leftist, and so you can't call me a hypocrite for not supporting it when a Republican does it from a Christofascist perspective. No. We're not going to rule the country based off of religion. Sorry. No. Not acceptable. I can't run for office and try to run with the principles of anarchism. I can be an anarchist and go, I really don't like systemic or systematic rule or any authoritarian thumb of any kind, and really I think people should be able to do whatever they want as long as it doesn't hurt others. You want to do drugs. You want to have a puritanical lifestyle, have a puritanical lifestyle. You want to take 500 dicks in your vagina or your butthole in one day, fine. Whatever helps you feel and get to that point of, I'm experiencing life, I'm enjoying life, self-actualization, that kind of thing, I'm okay with it, as long as it's not murder, rape, molestation, abuse, and theft. I really don't care what it is you do. So I don't really like power infrastructures. But if I was running for office, I can't govern our constitutional republic that way. I can't govern a democracy that way. I can't just dismantle it and say, well, because I don't like it, because I'm an anarchist. That's part of living in a free society, is that you can have an opposing political view. Second world nations are where you cannot have an opposing political view. Like North Korea, China, Russia, they like to try to destroy, silence, and kill people of political dissidence. Well, I'm going to get into that because the right is really, really going... There's a lot of right-leaning people that are doing that these days. So, yeah, I've been consistent. When the left did the whole SJW thing, when they did the whole woke school thing, I was against that because that was them forcing their views on everyone else. Just like, I talk about the person who identifies as a pony. You identify as a pony, that's fine, whatever. But when you want to turn it into law, that I have no choice but to recognize that you're a pony, there's a problem, because I'm a nihilist and there's absolutely no empirical evidence supporting that you're a pony. In fact, we can find billions of pieces of evidence showing that you are, in fact, biologically and in any way, shape, or form, not a pony. But you can identify that all you want, and I'll respect that. I don't care about that. I don't care about that at all. Nothing but... that's fine. But don't force me to be indoctrinated into your belief, Don't tell me what to do. I'm an anarchist. Don't tell me what to do. I don't like it. I'll respect your weird opinions, your weird beliefs. If you want to be Amish, be Amish. I don't care. Don't force it on me, though. Don't tell me what to do. So, yeah. Interesting stuff. All right, so that was TJ Kirks. Again, doesn't need my help for this channel, but I'll go ahead and leave a link to that video. And I'm going to end that screenshot so you have an idea. Lining the audio up on this is going to be a fucking nightmare. I need a platform. I need people to help me edit and stuff. Like, Jesus, man. I would make more videos. I really would if I had somebody to help with all that crap. Especially now, YouTube's new, like, the way that it uploads things now, it takes fucking forever. It used to only take, like, maybe 20 minutes. Even for an HD video, like maybe 20-30 minutes. Now it's like, Jesus, man, like sometimes it has taken me like almost 2 days. Because now YouTube wants to go through and it wants to check everything. It wants to make sure no copyrights are there. It wants to make sure that it's cool, it's not offensive. It uploads the SD version and then processes it, and then processes the HD version. Oh my god, it takes too fucking long. It takes too fucking long. I wish they would go back to the old one where it took 20-30 minutes. And it was a lot easier to upload multiple videos at a time, too. Very weird way to make a video. Hopefully I can get everything lined up okay. I said lining the audio up, that's going to be tricky. Especially when I walked away to put the baby bunny back in her little cage. Actually, we got her a pretty big cage. Because she's going to be a big bunny, so we got her a big cage. It's got like a little tunnel way for her to hide in if she feels scared or something like that. They're amazing pets. I've had bunnies before. They're sweet. They're sweet animals. I don't understand why anyone could be mean to them. They're so sweet. They're sweethearts. And the cat's taken a liking to her, too. The cat's gone into full mom mode. Like, she sleeps next to the cage, guarding it all day, all night. And if we take the bunny out, she has to be right next to the bunny. And she'll groom the bunny and protect her. It's so cute. But, Mama Smokey, the cat, she's treating the bunny like it's a kitten. It's adorable. All right, so now we're going on to how weird some of these conservatives are getting. I mean, I made a list of how I want to do this. There's so many. Oh my god. I'll include the articles, and I guess I'll just have to blur this. So okay, we're 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, I'm gonna insert this screen capture here. So there's just all these articles here. I'll leave those in the link. I'll leave the links in the description so you can go through them. But it's so crazy. Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of the things that she's tweeted out that I find very, very interesting is she removed the tweet, so you can't even find it now, but one of these articles has a piece of the tweet, but not the full tweet. But she basically said that we need to use our Second Amendment rights to shoot Democrats, leftists, and LGBT people. And I tweeted back out at her. I was like, what the fuck? You know, like, I was like, why do you think that it's acceptable to advocate violence against your political opponents, especially in a free country like the United States? Like, this is not acceptable in the United States. If I had tweeted out what she had tweeted out about Republicans, I could have been arrested. Okay? Absolutely, I could have been arrested for that. She's Marjorie Taylor Greene, though. You know, she's a senator, so, you know, whatever. But this is what I'm talking about. They go, oh, we don't want to be like China. We don't want to be like Russia. We don't want to be like North Korea. I want to kill my political dissidents and people I don't like. That's what they do in those countries. That's why we sit there and say, well, this is a free country. Is because we don't do those things. So that's a double standard, I think. It's like, well, I really think you need to make up your mind. You know, like, do you want to be like North Korea or do you not? Do you want to be like China or do you not? Do you want to be like Russia or do you not? Because silencing your political your political opposition is very much those countries. Very much. That the second world nation stuff. Not even third world nation. Third world nation is kind of anything goes. But that's second world nation stuff. Anything about Confucianism or democracy, shut it down. Shh. No. We can't be talking about those things. You know, we don't want to talk about liberties and freedoms. No way. Okay, so one of these was about a pastor who wanted to bring back a bill from the 1930s. The bill was created to hold accountable people who were working for the Soviet Union that were leaking United States military secrets to Russia. He wanted to reenact this bill and charge all LGBT people for treason, which is ridiculous because that implies that all LGBT people are conspiring with Russia and the Soviet Union. First of all, the Soviet Union doesn't exist anymore. It broke up. So that doesn't work on that front. Second of all, you would have to prove that all LGBT people are in favor of communism and Russia, and they're not. Oddly, there's some very fascistic-y homosexuals out there, and I don't get that, but whatever. It's like you're siding with people that will kill you, that want you dead. So I don't know why you would do that, but yeah, okay. So what this is to me is neo-McCarthyism, and it's junk. It's just a pile of horse shit. McCarthyism didn't work when it happened. We live in a free society. It's okay to think communism is cool. I personally don't. I think it's garbage. But we live in a free nation. It's okay to read the Communist Manifesto. That's okay. It's fine. But can I tell you something? One of the reasons why neo-McCarthyism is shit? The American Communist Party is only something like 200,000 people, which is nothing. That's nothing. I mean, that's less than the suburb of the city I live in. I mean, that's horseshit. That's nothing. That's a teeny weeny. That's like the smallest political party in the United States. You're worried about the smallest political party in the United States. That's ridiculous. That's absurd. That's ridiculous. That's just beyond stupid. So this neo-McCarthyism, cultural Marxism, the homo global, all this crap that came out in the 1930s by the Bund Society that's had a little bit of word changing, and now everybody thinks it's real. You got people out there that are like, no, it's happening. It's not. No, it's not. And trying to enact a bill from the 1930s to try and hold... Okay, one of the things I want my right-leaning friends out there to think about, okay, so the people advocating for this, we're not talking about going back to the 1920s or something like that where, anti-sodomy laws are in place and it's illegal, okay? This is not the death penalty back then. You go far enough back, okay, yeah, it was the death penalty. But, okay, so, 1920s, 1930s or whatever, you did have some deaths around it, but a lot of that was, gay bashing type stuff. But, so, you get caught doing sodomy. It's a fine, pretty steep fine, and it also depends on the state, how large the fine is. Some states is, I think Chicago, Illinois was one of the first states to completely just legalize it, or they just decriminalize it. They're like, no, we're not going to punish homosexuality or any kind of sodomy. We're not going to do that. And I forgot probably California was the second one, but who knows? So it depends on the state you live in, what the penalty is, but usually a fine, some jail time, and in some states, not all, like the state I live in, back in the day when they had anti-sodomy laws, you would pay a fine, you would spend a very small amount of time in jail, but it was considered like a misdemeanor or something like that, so. But in some states, you'd have to register as a sex offender. Okay, we're not talking about that. These people want to... This fuck due process, okay? fuck the Tree of Liberty. This is, we're going to go into their homes, pull them out, drag them into the street, put a bag over their head, and shoot them. Okay, this is like fucking Middle Eastern, China, North Korea, Russia type fuckery. I mean, what the hell? And then I there's some Texas bills that are going against LGBT people, like they're bringing back, they're trying to bring back conversion therapy camps. It's optional, which, okay, anyone that's an adult is like, oh, I ain't going there. Because most of what they do in those facilities is pretty much, it's pretty much torture. It's sexual abuse. Okay, I don't know if they've changed much, but the people who have gone to them back before they were banned, it's sexual abuse. The problem here is when they say it's optional. Okay, let's say like you have some homophobic parents and they have a teenager, and let's say the teenager comes out not knowing that their parents are homophobic. Being that the teenager is still considered the parent's property, they send him to the conversion therapy camp. Or let's say they just find out. Let's say that they don't come out of the closet, they just find out. Conversion therapy. Against their will, because it could be a female. But I mean, that's rancid. Okay? That's just shit. And the other thing is that there's conversion therapy is not backed by any level of science at all. It's not shown to work a lot of the times. Actually, like pretty much in every case, they all will say they're fixed just to get out. Just to get the sexual abuse and depravity to stop. There's some Arizona laws I put in there. Some Florida laws I put in here. There's the things about Marjorie Taylor Greene, Ron DeSantis and his fuckery. Lauren Witzke, who ran for public office, who is a legit, full-fledged, out-of-the-closet neo-Nazi. I mean, she's an open neo-Nazi. Thank goodness she lost in that state. I think it was Michigan. She lost to the Democrat, probably because she was nuts. There was a YouTube video in there. I don't know what that is, whatever, but I don't remember what it was. There's a anti-LGBT bill tracker from freedomforallamericans.org. Politico Blake Masters, another real weird guy from Arizona. He's being endorsed by Tucker Carlson. Come to find out, this guy idolizes the Unabomber. And, I mean, the Unabomber is a radical anarchist, but for some reason, neo-Nazis seem to really fucking like radical anarchists. I think it's because radical anarchists they're anarchists, they've become so pissed off, they've lost their humanitarianism, and they engage in violence. Blake Masters, again, another real weird guy. Why is he in public office? Why are you people voting for him? Why are you voting him in? Why? Is the majority of the Republican Party a bunch of neo-Nazi, Christofascist bigots now? Because that's not what the Republican Party stood for. That isn't it. I even gave Wikipedia for Blake Masters. The overturning of Moore v. Harper. Something about an Ohio state. And okay, so State Representative Gene Schmidt from Cleveland, Ohio wants to ban contraceptives and prophylactics. This is a misunderstanding of what freedom means. Freedom, this is the disappointing thing about Roe v. Wade. It doesn't matter if you're for or against abortion. Okay, I hate people who say pro-life. Everyone's pro-life. It's whether or not you're for or against abortion. That's a quote from Penn from Penn and Teller's Bullshit when they were talking about this. Okay, so everyone's pro-life. No one's gonna say, yeah, I am for murdering people. The thing is not everyone holds the opinion that an abortion is murder. You think that, you might think that, not everyone does. That's what's up for debate here. That's the controversy on the table. Is it or is it not? I don't know. Some people say, well, the people who say life begins at conception, okay, to them it's murder. But to me, it's not. It doesn't know it exists. It doesn't have a central nervous system. I mean, technically it's life, we can say, but so is sperm. On the technicality, it's life. So is an egg cell. On the technicality, it's life. You're using a technicality when you say life begins at conception. Well, of course it does. Sperm's life and egg cell's life, they combine. It creates a zygotic life. That doesn't mean it's a human being. It doesn't know it exists. I mean, you know, there's all kinds of... I don't want to go through that fucking debate again. That was too fucking long. That took too much of my fucking time. If somebody wants to debate me on that, you're gonna have to do it on a live stream. I'm not doing it in the comments section. I have been doing nothing but debating conservatives about fucking abortion since the overturn of Roe v. Wade, and I'm sick of it. Okay? You know what my position is. You're not gonna change my mind. Period. I've said my piece. Let it go. We don't agree. Let it go. All right. Anyway, so, but the point is that if you're against it, by having access to abortion, no one's forcing you to get an abortion. No one's doing that. It's a freedom, meaning it's available to you if you do want one. It doesn't mean you have to have one. This is the problem that I have with the collectivism and the tribalism, is that, you know, these Christofascists are like, oh, we can't live our puritanical life with these homosexuals running around and getting married and stuff. And it's like, why? No one's stopping you. No one's stopping you. If you do not need to make contraceptives illegal, if you don't like contraceptives, don't buy contraceptives. Don't use them. That's what freedom is. It's, if you want to, oh my God, stop it. If you want to make that decision, it's there for you. You don't have to. So one time I said to a gay friend of mine before gay marriage was legal, I said, I don't know why I should vote to make gay marriage legal. At this time I was just bitter or something. I actually been very, very pro gay marriage. So he said to me, I can't believe you'd say that. And I say, well, what if I have no desire to get married? He said, that's not the point. You're still taking away the ability for those that do. That's the problem. That's the problem. And that's what collectivism and this collectivism and this tribalism is doing on both the left and the right, is they're putting, I have a post about it down here somewhere actually. Very few people try to think from others' perspectives. Most people only care about their own perspectives and then project that onto others. And that's exactly what happens. That's what's been happening. All right, so now I'm going to go into these screenshots and I can take away the blurred. Clarence Thomas says, right to contraception in Griswold v. Connecticut was, and you know, so he wants to overturn that now too. Fuck. Ban birth control. This is me tweeting at Marjorie Taylor Greene. Why is it acceptable, Marjorie Taylor Greene, to advocate for killing her political opponents? If anyone else did this, it would be a crime, and they would be labeled dangerous, radical, and probably locked up. Marjorie Taylor Greene, you are a problem. And here's her tweeting out, "This is the way. Protect children from evil gender confusion. This evil gender confusion lie that is being forced on them. Florida law now officially prohibits injecting sexuality and gender ideology into an elementary school curriculum." Now, at surface level, I would agree with that, but I have a feeling there's more to the story. I have a feeling what they're saying is going on is not what actually is happening. I have a feeling what's actually happening is they're saying, hey, trans people exist, and they're like, oh, you're indoctrinating, you're grooming, and you're confusing the children. I have a feeling that's not what's happening. So this is something in Wisconsin. This is from Don't Punish Pain, but again enacted by a fucking Republican. So police in Wisconsin can make a diagnosis of opioid OD and put it on the PDMP. If you don't know what a PDMP is, if you go to the doctor regularly, you have one. Since when are they qualified to practice medicine? Answer: since the Wisconsin Department of Licensing let them do it. Congratulations, Wisconsin. You suck. GOP senator considering blocking school meal funding deal over transgender policy. So he's going to make it, it's in Texas, or not Texas, sorry, Kansas. He's going to make it, he's the Republican Senator Roger Marshall. He's going to make it so that kids don't have access to school meals because he's pissed off that somebody is talking about transgender issues in school. The fuck? This is an interesting right-leaning Twitter profile that I thought. First, we deal with the communist. Yeah, because communism is just so popular. Then we restore the Constitution. These Supreme Court judges you're showing are repealing things. Okay, whatever. If you're not actively anti-groomer, you are a groomer. Well, I am anti-groomer, but the problem is that me just simply being homosexual automatically makes me a groomer, and this person's fucked up, stupid brain that can't seem to comprehend basic things. I support the current thing. Okay. Here's another one. Here's an LGBT person that's anti-LGBT for some reason. He says, I am proud to be part of this amazing group. Please, okay. Gays Against Groomers is a coalition of gay people who oppose the recent trend of indoctrinating and sexualizing children under the guise of LGBTQIA+. Again, the propaganda is working so well on this crap. People actually think, I guarantee you 99.9% of the crap they're calling grooming and indoctrinating isn't that. Literally, one of the things that they said was indoctrinating and grooming is on a parent-teacher's night, a kid's parents found out that they just figured it out because of the teacher's lisp that he was gay. They asked him, are you gay? He said, well, I'll let you figure it out. Fired. That ended up on Lives of TikTok. Indoctrination, grooming. Really? But you have these people believing it. It's like they'll consider you a groomer if you kiss your boyfriend in front of fucking kids. This is interesting. I don't know how you rationalize this shit. I don't know why this is funny. I don't think it's cute. 10-year-old... This is the other thing. The Republicans who are saying, oh, you could just go to another state and get an abortion. No, you can't. No, you can't. I cannot go to a state with medical marijuana with my state's ID card and say, can you prescribe me marijuana? They can't. It's the same thing with abortion. Now, recreational marijuana is different. Recreational marijuana, you just have to be 21. But you still, you have to leave it in that state, or a state that where it's legal. The moment you take marijuana from a recreational state and cross state line into a state that doesn't have it legal medicinally or recreationally, you have committed a federal crime. Apply that to the abortion. This could be considered a federal crime. Yeah. And so take that into consideration. You can't just go to another state and get an abortion, because the state that you came from might consider that criminal, and you've committed a federal crime because you've crossed state borders. And the law gets tricky. So a 10-year-old girl is raped. The state forces her to remain pregnant and tells her to consider it an opportunity. This isn't Iran. This isn't Gilead. This isn't hypothetical. This happened today in Ohio. I know that's old news. I thought that was fucked up. And then stuff about Clarence Thomas you should already know about. This is some things that they're doing in Texas that I think are very strange. Deeming gender identity disorder a genuine and extremely rare mental health condition, requiring official documents to adhere to biological gender, and allowing civil penalties and monetary compensation to detransitioners who have received gender-affirming surgery, which the platform calls a form of medical malpractice. Well, the problem I have with that is the person has to make the decision to do that. So that's kind of on them. Treating homosexuality as an abnormal lifestyle choice, language that was not included in the 2018 or 2020 party platforms. So I don't like that idea of like treating like it's abnormal. Like, I mean, it's not. I mean, obviously, it's not the what's the word I'm looking for? It's not the norm. It's heterosexuality is the default. It's not the default, but it's pretty normal. It occurs quite often in nature. So, no, I wouldn't say it's abnormal. Bestiality, that's abnormal. Pedophilia, this is extremely abnormal. Pedophilia is very weird. It doesn't exist in any other species. Seriously. Humans are the only species we can find where people will try to fuck another person who is not sexually ready. So, that's weird. That's abnormal. Okay? And there's plenty of abnormal lifestyles that I would say are not criminal even, but, just being eccentric. What's wrong with being eccentric? Stop it. Oh, and then this guy. Okay, we're done. Oh, no, we're not. Wait, there's more to it. Okay, now we're done. So, those were, and I'm going to stop that here. Okay, so, those were reasons why I will never vote Republican, is because, the people that are getting into it, they're kind of nuts. But, I mean, I've never voted Republican because they've never stood for ideals or things that I've wanted to strive for. Things like getting rid of prohibitions, especially legalizing marijuana. It's like we've been trying to get that done for so long. They seem to be against LGBT rights and the ability for gay people to get married for legal purposes. Like let me put it to you this way. Me and my partner, we've been together for 8, almost 9 years. Us being together has no positive or negative impact on Chickmicken that hates it. Again, it's just this whole like, this is the way that I think things should be, so I'm going to, I want to make everyone live the same lifestyle I do. It's a homogenous culture. And the thing is that me and my partner existing together, we're not posing any threat to a puritanical lifestyle if that's what you want to do. Your puritanical lifestyle isn't affecting us. You have every right to not like, if you don't want to associate with homosexuals, don't. You don't want to go to a gay wedding, don't. You don't want to make a gay wedding cake, don't. I mean, nobody's making you do that. Me and my partner existing are not hurting you in any way. Tribalism and collectivism is very bad. It hurts society. And so, like, I know everybody's going to want to bring this to a political point, and I know that there's a lot of politics that go into this. But I want to be very clear. This is about thought processes. This is about arguments. This is about philosophy. I hate politics, believe it or not. I hate them. I am a fan of anarchism, and I am a fan of feral democracies. I like analyzing these thought processes, and believe me, if it comes from the left, I do the same thing, and I have been consistent about that. Go and look at the history of my channel. I used to do anti-SJW videos. Oh yeah. I've been consistent. Yeah. So, but with that, this video's gone on far longer than I thought it would. So I'm gonna wrap this up, and nothing against the irrational Republicans out there, to the Republicans that hold on to the traditional Thomas Jefferson, sort of Andrew Jackson, Thomas Paine kind of philosophy of anti-federalist, deconsolidation, decentralization. It was the core philosophy of the Republican Party. To just be aware, some of the people and that's being elected into the Republican Party, they don't care about Republican philosophy. They don't care about due process. They don't seem to care. Some of the people that I've gone over, they don't care about a constitutional republic. Okay, they're doing something else. They're on a different level. Okay, they're not like I may be a fascist, but I'm Republican. I do this and that, even though I don't agree with it, because that's their job, is to adhere to their constituents. No. These people aren't doing that. That's what I'm trying to point out to you. It's pointless for me to talk to Cassandra about it, because she already knows. I need to inform people who aren't paying attention, who don't know, who are ignoring it, or don't believe it. You need to start waking up to this and start doing some house cleaning. Anyway, with that, this is philosophy take. It's not political. I mean no ill will towards the rational Republicans. It's okay to be Republican. It's not okay to try to overthrow our constitutional republic in democracy and establish a fascist or Christofascist or turn us into a second world nation. But that out.